Okay, we are back. Got the first Bronze Age swords for you today. This is a Danish bronze sword made by bronzesmith Chris Levatino in New York. You'll notice that all of it is very, very rugged looking, as Bronze Age swords would have been. The weight, this thing is heavier than I thought it was going to be. The weight is about 3 pounds as you're coming out with it. The slashing is very good with this. The grip, it's a 3-inch grip, so the grip is very short. I believe that is to keep retention and keep the hand in place. Notice that it's riveted with wood, so this is wood in here. It kind of blends in, but you can see that in the light here. So as we put it into the full grip here, we close the pinky and close the thumb. You'll notice that we have some beautiful designs on the pommel here. And actually, just like Indian talwars have, the back of the hand sits into that very nicely. Very impressed with how well this feels in the hand. The pins on this, just for your own reference for checking this blade out today, the pins on it are not real pins. They're just riveted on there, so they're not keeping any kind of construction. This is basically a single piece of bronze put together. It's about as simple as you can get. The edges are tempered though. The edges are tempered differently, so they are going to be a little bit stronger. So if you were to add a sharpening surface to any of these 3 blades that we're going to be looking at today, you can do that. The tip, just like the ones that you'll see in the museums, I'll get out of the way so you can see that. The tip is a lot thicker. It tapers through the fuller. Notice that this diamond cross section here, if you were to make contact to an opponent's armor or even to, hitting bone and things like that, you'll notice that if you were coming out to the strike and you hit the target, all that vibration is going to end up going into the cross section and your hand is going to stay secure. You don't have a grip that doesn't keep your hand secure, so you can keep this in the hand, not have to worry about losing your sword. Which, if this is all you got, this is all you got. This was the most advanced military technology at the time. Obviously, other than if you had a spear, this would be medium to close quarter range. And if this is what you had, man, this is what you had. And at the time, you didn't know about steel anyway, so this was the best when it came to it. So we have 2 more of these Chris Levatino Bronze Age swords to look at today. So this is the first one. We'll do this one next, because it gives you a little bit of contrast to see what we have for you today. Much shorter of a blade. I would say this is about a 16, 17-inch blade here. Much pointier. Has a more pronounced fuller through it, as you can see. Kind of bellies up there. So we have the second Bronze Age sword to look at today. Well, notice the grip is quite short. A little bit skinnier than the other one we were looking at. Flat pommel. Somewhat of a mirror polish, about as mirror polished as you're going to get with bronze. And we'll see that the grip does not include the wood pieces here. So I'm going to hold this because there's no edge on it. And we see we have the same pin construction as well. On both sides. This one's a little bit shorter, about a 16, 17-inch blade. A lot more agile in the hand if you're striking on the diagonals with it, or if you were doing any thrusting with it. You'll see that it returns a lot faster than the other one that we had before. So this is the second one that we're looking at today. finally, the last one, which is pretty much, I would call, a combination of the first and the second blade that we're looking at today. We have a very pronounced fuller coming out. Notice that the blade length very close to the first Danish bronze sword we're looking at today. And just to compare the handles as well, without dropping them. There's a good side-by-side comparison to see what we have here. If you have a larger hand, you have really long fingers, like a thicker grip, I would recommend getting the first one. Just know that it's heavy. It's about 3 pounds. This is the heavier one. This one is about 3 pounds, a little bit thinner of a grip, much like the second one. And you can sharpen these, so these are, because the edges are tempered, you can sharpen these. Just add that sharpening service if you are to purchase these from Kult of Athena. They are online as the Levatino Danish bronze swords, so we have those available for you. These are 3 of his models. He also makes some other like karambit looking daggers and things like that. A lot of really cool stuff from him. A lot of great work here. The first blade that we looked at and the second one, you'll notice that the first one has a much thicker grip with the wood in between the handle with the pronounced pommel. Second one is more agile and lightweight, does not have the wood, and is a thinner blade, probably more for thrusting, or if you were a smaller person and needed to maneuver a blade in this manner. You see it in the hand, I have pretty regular sized hands. It fills the grip fully. If I turn the hand over, that's what you're looking at for this shorter one. First one, much more to grab onto for the handle, especially with that wood that you do feel. It's nice and smooth, so you're not gonna necessarily mess up your hand with that. It just bites into it really nicely, especially for when it's almost 100 degrees out. So that's very nice. This would be nice for any kind of reenactment, hang this on a sword stand. You could do cutting with it, but I really wouldn't recommend doing hacking with it. That's why we do not have this as battle-ready items, because you can't really compare modern steel to bronze. It's not really a fair comparison, I guess you could say. Combatively speaking, well, if you look at history, people were fighting with bronze well before we ever figured out how to forge steel and iron even. So they're battle proven more than battle ready. So they're definitely really nice, very well put together blades here. And I'm going to try and get all 3 in here. These don't have edges on them, by the way, so I don't think I'm grabbing a sharp blade. Got more sense than that. So we'll do this.